Hello, I'm LR, and thank you for watching Viewer's Point of View. This is a segment where we take your emails that you send to me or your tweets, and we talk about them and respond to them on this segment. Thank you for everybody who did email in. We got quite a few in, more than I thought, but I was really happy to see all the response I got after just launching this channel. So basically, we're just going to go over a couple of emails that you sent me, a couple of topics, and respond to them. So let's get started. Alright, so there's a couple of emails I printed out online here. This one is from Troy from Fresno. Hello, Troy. Thank you for emailing. Will we ever see another Thor movie after Ragnarok? Well, that'll be interesting. Troy, I think the series is over. I think this is the third Thor movie. I think this is the last one, his last solo movie. I think Marvel's getting ready to move into the new Avengers. Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Doctor Strange is taking the lead role, and I think we'll still see Thor, much like we see Iron Man, but more in a supportive kind of cameo role in other heroes' movies. Much like Iron Man is assisted in Captain America: Civil War, and also was in Spider-Man: Homecoming coming up this summer. So I think Thor will have a place in the Marvel universe, but I do not think we'll see another movie. Now, I'm not saying for 100% that's the case, because by what I've seen already with the trailers, Thor Ragnarok look amazing. It looks fantastic, and if it knocks out of the park, people might be saying, "Hey, I want a Thor movie." And Thor has a ton of storylines. If you read the Thor comic books like I have over the years, plenty of stories to go into with Thor. So they got plenty of materials to go into. But it's a matter of if they're going to do another Thor movie, or they want to focus more on the new characters that they're trying to develop at Marvel Studios. So again, I think we'll see Thor. He's not gone away. Of course, he'll be in the Avengers movies. All the Avengers movies he'll probably be a part of. But solo movies, I think we've seen, this is probably the last one we're going to see of Thor for any time soon. But I'm not saying that's for sure, but that's my personal belief. So thank you so much for your email, Troy. I appreciate it. Okay, next one. Alright, this one is from Dan. Dan, it doesn't say where you're from, but thank you for the email anyway. Okay, so Dan's responding to the storyline topics of last week when we talked about the legacy of the DCEU movies. Okay, Dan writes, I think they should reboot the DCEU universe and do it by Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. Well, yes, they could do it by the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. I don't think that's the way to go, though, Dan, because I think it's too confusing. Not only to the average moviegoers who have no idea what Crisis on Infinite Earth even is, but to average everyday people who even follow comic books, they might not be up to date on Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think if you do that, it gets a lot more confusing, because then you got to explain there's the multiverse, which people may know already exists, but in the movie universe you're going to have to explain the multiverse. There's multiple Superman on different planets, multiple Batmans, Flashes, so you got to bring in other characters. You got to bring a lot more in than those Justice League characters that's being introduced to us this Christmas. So although they could do it with Crisis on Infinite Earth, they could reboot the universe if they decide to do that after Aquaman. If they say, this ain't working, they could reboot it. I don't think that's the way to go. I think if DC decides that we want to redo this whole thing over, create everybody over again in a different tone or a different storyline, they have to do it by Flashpoint. I think Flashpoint is the key to this, because Flashpoint not only flows as far as allowing it to reboot because you change the timeline, but it could be easily told in the Flash movie without disrupting the Flash storyline. You already know that. Looking at Justice League, his father's in jail, so the Reverse Flash has something to do with that. Obviously, if they're going to go off the same kind of premise they do on a TV show. So based on that, you can easily do Flashpoint at the end of that movie, reset the universe. If you decide to do a new Batman or recast Superman or keep the same characters, same actors in those roles, then you can do that, just change their storyline. So I think Flashpoint is the better way to do it, the less confusing way to do it, because the general public won't be as confused and they can understand the point of Flashpoint in the Flash movie and why everything got rebooted. So although Crisis on Infinite Earth is a great idea, you definitely could do it that way too, but I think the Flashpoint storyline in a Flash movie would be the better way to go if they're going to reboot the universe. But great question, Dan. Thank you so much for the email. Continue to send in your thoughts and emails to me through Gmail or Twitter. All right, next one. This one is from Tower Force. Tower Force. Sounds like a superhero name. Do you think we will see the Knights of Ren in the Last Jedi movie? Possibly. I don't think we saw them in the teaser trailer at all. I think when you saw the Jedi Temple being destroyed, that was Captain Phasma's troops coming through there. I think we'll get a mention of them. I think we'll get an explanation of who are the Knights of Ren. Are they other Force users that Luke was training that left with Kylo Ren? Or are they just his personal security force that follows him around? Possibly. Who knows? That could be a possibility that they could go into who they are. They could even show them. But I think Luke definitely will speak about what happened with his training with Kylo Ren and The Last Jedi, and who these other Force-sensitive people were that he trained or may have not trained or were going to train that left with Kylo Ren. So I think it's a possibility of seeing that in the next Last Jedi movie. It would be interesting to see if they even show them at all, but I think we will see them, and even Snoke might even mention them, or there might be a scene of them in the movie as well. So either one of those things are possible. I think it's something that we should keep our eye on, and maybe we'll know more in a future trailer coming up later on this summer with The Last Jedi. But again, thank you, Tower Force, for the email. It was a great question. Appreciate it. Going to another question. This is from Terry from Austin, Texas. Do you think Darkseid will be a CG or an actual person in a suit for the Justice League movie? Well, first of all, if we see Darkseid, which I think we will see him at the end, if we see him, I think he will be I think they'll probably do CG, because Darkseid has to be actual. He's big as the Hulk, basically. So, I think they're going to do a CG character. I would love to see a practical guy in a suit do Darkseid, where they can do the makeup and have him look more real. But the problem is Darkseid's a big character. You had this problem in X-Men: The Last Stand where they had the Juggernaut in that movie, and they made him a practical character. Okay, he looked good and everything, but he was not the actual size of the Juggernaut. Juggernaut's as big as the Hulk, so they couldn't do that, but they wanted a practical person in a suit. So it worked fine and it was okay, but I much would have rather saw the Juggernaut in his actual size, how he really looks, and as big as powerful as he is. So that's the trade-off. So based on Darkseid, we've seen Darkseid in comic books be about the same size, maybe about a little bit taller than Superman. We've seen him in the animation where he's 20 feet tall. So I think either way they could do it, but I would choose to go with the CG effect of Darkseid. I think that's the better way to go. And the CG is getting better and better every year as they develop the technology. So that's the way I would go with Darkseid, and I think that's the better way to go. But thank you, Terry. Appreciate your email. Good email on that question. All right, this is the last one we're going to do today for the segment, and this one comes from LJ. And LJ writes, do you think Sony will ruin the new Spider-Man if they take him out of the MCU? Well, as you know, the agreement between Sony and Marvel is coming to an end, and they might renew it. Who knows? But Sony has spoken about doing their own Miles Morales and their own another universe, pretty much, instead of just having just Peter Parker Spider-Man. So maybe they're planning on saying, you know what, we're going to leave Spider-Man in MCU, make movies with Marvel, with Peter Parker, have him interact with Marvel and the other Marvel characters in the Avengers. And then we're going to have another universe with Miles Morales, and we're going to focus on that. Sony, that being Sony's own universe with Miles Morales, his version of the Goblin, things of that nature. So that may be the way they may be going with that. Now, this could be very confusing to the average moviegoer who's going to wonder, first of all, who is Miles Morales? A lot of people don't know that there's another Spider-Man out there. And also, does he know Peter Parker? Why is there are two of them running around in the same city? So Sony's going to have to explain that very in detail. And I think if they introduce Miles Morales, which I don't think they're going to do, but they introduce him in the Spideyverse saying, here's a Peter Parker movie, and all of a sudden, you know what, we find out there's another universe that Peter discovers, and there's another Spider-Man there. I don't know which way they can figure it out. Maybe through Doctor Strange does a cameo and teleports into another universe or dimension and finds out there's another Earth where there's another Spider-Man who's Miles Morales. And then Sony from there takes it from there and focuses on that Earth and that universe of Miles Morales, still acknowledging that there's another universe where Peter Parker lives in. That might be the best way to do it. And less confusing for the public, I think. But Sony could screw it up. I mean, Sony has done a couple of Spider-Man movies that were really good with Andy Garfield and Tobey Maguire, and they've done a couple that were pretty bad with the same actors in the movie. So they have the ability to do good storylines and the ability to do kind of bad storyline with a bunch of people smashed in together. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but they could pull it off. I am very skeptical about the Venom movie they're planning on doing. I'm hoping that they decide to course correct that, because you can't have a Venom movie without Spider-Man first, because that's how the symbiote got the spider powers to begin with. So I don't know how they're going to get around that, but they're talking about doing a Venom movie, so we'll see what they do. But yeah, I think Sony could pull it off without ruining the Spider-Man universe, but they also can screw it up as well, as I mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, and I hope they do. I want to see Miles Morales, and I hope they do it in the right way. So we'll see. But LJ, thank you for your email. I appreciate it very much. And that's going to be it for our segment of Viewers Point of View. We'll be back next week with some more of your emails. Don't forget to send me your thoughts and comments and your questions to my Gmail account at readytoreactnow@gmail.com and my Twitter. I'm LR. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.